מיכאל ומשמאלי גבריאל מלפניי אוריאל מאחוריי רפאל על ראשי ya la 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 ya la la ay la ya la 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 ya la la Shabbos, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. Hi. Welcome. So the days are longer and more beautiful and hotter. It's nice to have air conditioning, but you can imagine people are enjoying themselves outside right now, maybe getting a nice beer, something, nice little something to end the week. I'll give you the name of a nice cocktail. It'll be like Kabbalat Shabbat. What do you think?
Margarita. Feels like margarita.
Margarita. It's the same thing, yeah. So it's good to be together. It's good to see you. Some of you I haven't seen in a while. So beautiful. See dear friends. My dear friend Michal Ramon is here from Israel and from Access Israel. She's going to be sharing some words about her important work in Israel today at around 7 o'clock or so, 7:10 for the Baruch Hu. How many of you are thinking, wow, I wish we had 4 more days in the week so we didn't have to have Shabbat right now? Shabbat came too early. Did Shabbat come too early?
It came
Never.
right on time.
Exactly, never. Never. Never too early. We can even go out and get more Shabbat. We can go grab Shabbats. So I'm inviting you to close your phones and open your hearts. Page 6, we welcome one another with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Yasharim, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Boachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim,
HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. La 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 Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Come on, join us, everyone. Yala la 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 yala la yala la yala la HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. On page 9 and 10, everyone. Lecho neranena l'Adonai na'ariyah
Ay leto yisheinu nekad ma'afana Ay betoda vizmeot nariyalo
יל גדול אדוני מלך גדול על כל אלוהים אשר בידו מחקרת ותועפת אבים לו שלא היה מיועשהו ויבש את ידיו יצרו והוא נשתחווה ונכרע נברך על מאדוני עושנו כי אלוהינו אנחנו אמר איתו וצאן ידו היום אם בקולו תשמעו אל תחשו לבבכם כי מריבה ביום מסע במדבר אשר ניסוני עבודתכם וחנוני גם נעופה
לי 40 שנה הכות בדום ועומר עמתו אלי בהם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשבעתי ביפי אל מנוחתי.
Please, 11 and 12.
שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסור מיום ליום. שועתו ספרו וגויים, כבודו לכל נתמים לאדון, כי גדול אדוני ומעולם מאוד. ונורא הוא על כל אלוהים, כי כל אלוהים העמים מלינים, אדוני שמיים עשה עוף והדר לפניו, עוז ותפארת במקדשו. המון אדוני משפחות עמם, המון אדוני כבוד עוז, המון אדוני כמות שמו, שאו ממך ולחצרו, תשתחוו לאדוני אין הדלתות, נו מפניו כל הארץ מלובד, הוויה מלך אף תיכותב, בל תימור ידי אמיני משערים. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירעם הים ומלואו, יעלו שדי וכל אשר עוז ירננו כל עצי יועד, לפני הוויה קיבה ישבותיהם בצדק ימים באמונתו.
Okay, everybody, we're going to try this now. The most minimal voice you can use. The most minimal. But everybody though. Like, even if it's just like Hey, la, 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 ay, la, 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 la. A little bit louder now. Ay, la, 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 la. Hey, la, la, la. Didn't know. Let's rise together. Page 19 and 20. As we rise, Psalm 29. I la 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 la. I la 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 la. Ya la 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 oh la 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 la. Ya la 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 oh. I la la ya la 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 la. I la 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 la. I la 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 oh. Ya la 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 oh oh. Ya la 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 oh. I la la ya la la la. Ya la 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 oh. Hey la 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 yo, ya la 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 no, yeah ya la la la, ya la 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 la, hey la 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 oh, ya la 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 la, hey ya la la no, mis morles David. Habu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, Habu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, Habu l'Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai b'chadrat Kol Adonai al ha'ma'im el הכבוד kirim Adonai al ma'im rabim Kol Adonai ba'koach Kol Adonai b'chadrat Kol Adonai shomer ha'nazir Vayishamer Adonai Yit'arzik al Lebanon Vayarkidem kemo egel Lebanon b'Zion Kemo v'nreimim Kol reimim Kol reimim Kol Adonai Chotzim lamod eish Kol Adonai Yachil midbar Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh Kol Adonai Yechol el hayalot Vayecheso ye'adon ובהיכלו kulo omer, kulo omer kavod, lo omer kavod, kulo omer kavod. Adonai, lama bo yashav, vayeshev Adonai, melech le'olam. Adonai oz le'amo yitei, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. Di-di-di-di-di-di-di, hey, 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 di-di-di-di-di-di, di-di-di-di-di-di-di. Hey, I'm a mama. Hey, guy, like.
Hi, la 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 la.
Hey, la. Adonai oz le'amo yitei, Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. Ana b'koach gidulati minchatat etzva. You may be seated. Agibor doshe yichud רק v'vasham l'machzor. On page 21 and 22. לעמך זוכר קדושתך, יחיגה לעמך זוכר קדושתך. We're 2/3 of the way down on page 21 and 22 as we continue to settle from the week and letting your shoulders relax. You have permission to close your eyes. You don't need my permission, but just if that feels comfortable for you. So if you're far from home or you're just wanting to remember this moment just as we close our eyes, maybe you've never been to a synagogue before, maybe you've never been to Romemu before, maybe it's been an extra long week for you. Maybe you're excited to see a friend, or maybe you're here alone. Shabbat is both Zachor v'Shamor, remembering and also watching, observing, safeguarded. So Zochei Kedushatecha, the ones who remember what's most important at this moment, turn to us as we turn to you. Let's sing together. It's so sweet.
Zochei Kedushatecha Yachid Geh Li'alcha v'neh Zochei Kedushatecha On page 23 and 24. לחכות לקראת קהל ונאשם נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קהל ונאשם נקבלה שמור זכור דיבור אחד השמיענו אל מיוחד אדוני אחד שמו אחד ושמו תפארת תהילה לך דודי לקראת קהל ונאשם שבת נחום עיניך כי מקום הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה מחשבה תחילה הולך דודי לקראת קהל ונאשם נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קהל ונאשם נקבלה
מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה קום נצאי תוך ההפיכה
אוי אוי רמח שבת ויהי בקבחה והוא יחמול עלייך בלילה
וילך אדוני לי נזכה ויהי שם נקבלה וילך אדוני לי נזכה ויהי שם נקבלה יתנערי מעפר קומי לבשי בגדי כל נפשי גלה עולה Shabbat, oh, le Kadodi li graskal, le Shabbat nekala, le Kadodi li graskal, le Shabbat nekala. Hey la 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 hey la 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 hey la 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 ma 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 hey la 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 oh devoshi ולא תקלמי מה תשתוכחי ומה יחסו עניי ימים ונתנתה עירתי לך הלילה לך אדוני הלילה לקראת קלה הלילה בני שבת הלילה נקבלה אויו לבשיסה שוסייך ורחקו כל מבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהייך כמסוס חתן אומרי לך אדוני היללי עוד היללי או ימין ושמאל תרוצי ואת אדוני What's going on, guys? Come on, hey! Everybody stand up, please stand up. Everybody stand up, come on. Sing it out, everybody. Hey, hey. Oh, bambana elecha. Bambana elecha. Bambana elecha. Bambana.
שלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני ים סגולה בואי נעלה שבת המלכה
לחנו Please remain standing, sorry. Here's Moshe Yom Shabbat. We sing a song for Shabbat. Mizmor, mizmor, shir, shir layom HaShabbos. Mizmor, mizmor, shir, shir layom. Oh, mizmor, mizmor, shir. Page 28, mizmor, mizmor, mizmor. Hey, mizmor, shir, shir layom HaShabbos. מזמור שיר,
שיר היום השבת, מזמור שיר, שיר היום השבת, מזמור שיר, שיר היום השבת.
להקים בבוקר חסדך. יש בר לא ידח סירי ונעשה בפרק
wide world is waiting to sing a song of Shabbos.
צדיק התמר יפרח כארז בלבנון יזכה שסולי מרייס אדוני וחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו עוד ינובון בסבע דשנים ורעננים יהיו יושרת צורי ונאהב לסבו We pray for healing on page 113.
Healer of broken hearted, binder of wounds, counter of uncountable sorrows. You know who we are.
הרופא ומחבש לעצבותם מונה מספר לכוכבים לכולם שמות יקרא. מי שברך אבותינו ואמותינו יברך את כל אלו ששבורים בגוף, בלב, בנשמה, בעבור שכולנו מתפללים בעבורם, בזכר זה הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא רחמים עליהם, להחלימם ולרפאותם, לחזיקם ולחיותם. In the matter of our hopes and our prayers and our hearts tonight, we hold those who are in need of healing in body, in heart, in mind, in spirit. We pray for them. And even though it's Shabbat, Shabbat Yom Zoak, we still say, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Please be seated, everyone. Shabbos, everybody. Good Shabbos. Can you hear me? It's okay? Yeah? Okay. Anybody here for the first time? A couple of people? Really? First time? Really? Wow. So if you'd like to stand up and say hi, that'd be cool. Or not. Up to you. Anybody can stand and say hi. Do you want to say hi, Ariella? Hi. Where are you from? Okay. And what's your name? Ariel. Welcome, Ariel. Okay. Anybody else? First timers, anybody? Yeah, hi. Want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Allie.
Hi, Allie.
Hi, Allie.
Where are you from?
Boston.
Okay. Living here now?
Yeah, I'm working at Columbia.
Okay. Nice to have you. Welcome. Anybody else? Let's see. Moving. We'll get to you in a second. Anybody else? Okay. Non-first timers. Okay. Good to have you. We're a couple of very brief announcements, and then I'll introduce my friend Michal. So we have this beautiful newsletter letting you know that, that David Kaufman is going to continue his course on is anti-Zionism inherently anti-Semitic, which comes out of nowhere, of course. It's just a course that he randomly decided to choose, not relevant to this moment at all. And I don't know, this is our membership drive. Okay, so there are no announcements, apparently. There are no announcements. Jeff, any announcements? No, because you gave me like the membership newsletter. Okay. Okay, everybody. On our newsletter here tonight, I'm going to be in conversation at the 92nd Street Y a week from Monday with Dr. Sarah Glass on her book, Kissing Girls on Shabbat, her own journey from the ultra-Orthodox community, navigating her orthodoxy while coming out as a lesbian. And so that's going to be a really interesting conversation. It was sold out, but now actually moved to a larger room. That's happening a week from Monday. We also have Tikkun Leil Shavuot, where Chazan Smith will be this coming, I guess, Tuesday night, all night, all kinds of wonderful offerings. Mazel Tov to Ezra Kimmelstein on the occasion of his adult bar mitzvah tomorrow. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. And, of course, services here on both the first and second days of Shavuot this coming week. So as promised last week, we have a guest here this Shabbat, coming all the way from Israel, I knew Michal when she was back when we went to school together, Amaz, as Michal Moked. Michal Rimondo is now the executive director of an incredible organization in Israel called Access Israel. And every year she says, I want to come and talk to your community about the important work that's going on in Israel. And there could be no better time to talk about important work happening in Eretz Israel, in Medina Israel, in the land of Israel then at this moment. So I'd like to invite Michal to address us and to inform us a little bit about the incredible work that she does with Access Israel in Israel.
Wow. First of all, the crutches, I usually do not follow them.
Correct. Correct. Is it on? Yeah. A little higher, I think.
I usually have a loud voice, but we'll try. No problem. So, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I have heard... Louder? Louder? Closer, like this. Good. Okay, so first of all, again, thank you very much. I've heard so much and for so long about this community, congregation, Romemu, and it's amazing and a great honor to be invited here. So thank you, David. Rabbi Ingber, sorry, I have to get that into my language. And I must tell you, I'm invited all over the world like this. That's good, good. I'm invited all over the world to talk about what Access Israel does. And I have a whole, spiel that I talk, but I'm sitting here and everything is now mixed because after what I saw now, the word community and congregation comes to mind. And I think it fits a lot with what we are doing in Israel. A community is people coming together, looking out for each other. And this is what Access Israel is doing. And we have celebrated yesterday our 25th anniversary. And I can tell you, I wasn't there at the beginning. I came about 17 years ago, came for 2 years, that's it. And I'm stuck there very deep. Access Israel was established in an Israel that was not only not accessible at all, but the word accessibility was not in use. People with disabilities, the tsabarim, the hardcore Israelis, soft hard but hardcore, were picked up, put down whenever they went, and that was life. You had to cope with it. When we were established, basically we came and said, guess what? People with disabilities have rights. And we want to live, or people with disabilities want to live as equals in society. And I can tell you, fast forward 2 decades, today Israel is considered one of the most accessible countries in the world, both legislation-wise and in many other aspects, physical and services and of course social. But who am I talking to you? Who am I talking about when I say people with disabilities? People with disabilities, I always use my hand. A person with disability, if somebody, for example, crutches, I had an operation 8 weeks ago. Disability can come in temporary form or permanent form, and it can come out of nowhere, or you can get born into a disability. But when I talk about a disability that we are working for, I always look at the hand, at my pinky finger and my thumb. If somebody would cut off my pinky finger, I might be sad to pay for 10 fingers in manicure and get only 9, but that's not really a big deal and that won't really affect me unless, of course, I'm a pianist. A pianist needs all 10 fingers, and then my livelihood is basically hurt. On the other hand, if my thumb will be cut off, then basic things in the kitchen, at work, I cannot do. I cannot do this clutching or whatever you call it in English. So whenever somebody asks me, who are you fighting for? Who are you doing what you're doing for? I always say, look at the hand. Allergy, is it a disability? If it's a pinky allergy, then no. If it's a thumb allergy, then absolutely. So this is what Access Israel has been doing in Israel, promoting accessibility for all types of disabilities, in all areas of life. And because I'm not going to take a long time for this talk, unfortunately in Israel, all areas of life includes, for many years, emergency. It's part of what we have to deal with. It's part of our daily life. You know, I'm walking here, as Rabbi David said, I was living in America, living in New York for many, many years. And I'm used to the life here in New York, and I walk the streets and I feel at home. But my heart is back in Israel. My heart is on my nephew that is now just out of Gaza, and thinking about my family and my friends, and worrying and really doing everything I can to, you know, help. Now, when we take our expertise in accessibility and our expertise in emergency, and we are very active in the international community, you know how December 3rd is the International Day of the Rights for People with Disabilities, and the purple color is identified with this cause, with the message, leaving no one behind. Well, unfortunately, it's a great message, it's great PR, but people with disabilities all over the world, the largest minority in the world, 20 to 25% of our population are being left behind in many, many aspects. And in times of emergency, definitely, because the generic solution does not work. Access Israel was called upon when the war broke in Ukraine in 22, called upon to help. I don't know how much you know about the situation in Ukraine, but the procedure there, the process, was that when you wanted to escape, you came to the border and you have to get off the car or the bus you're on and walk for 2 kilometers. The war broke in February, March, winter in Europe, snow. Now think about Holocaust survivors, think about people with disabilities, having to walk 2 kilometers in order to go to safety. Most of them prefer to stay home. In bombarded Kiev, bombarded Kharkiv, because the thought of facing the generic solutions, which will probably leave them behind anyway, they prefer to stay at home and risk their lives. Access Israel came, took the purple from that light that I talked to you about, the message of leaving no one behind, and put it on a vest. And we established a project called the Purple Vest Mission. In short, training people to identify, communicate, and assist people with disabilities, all types of disabilities, and the elderly. We started training thousands of people in Ukraine and on the border. I myself, with Rani, who is a co-founder of Access Israel, made trips back and forth to Poland to treat and to train and to assist as much as we could. Luckily, we got a large donation from a Japanese foundation who said, you know what? We don't want to donate to big organizations. We'll donate to somebody who's really pinpointing a problem. And through that donation, we were able to evacuate over 4,500 people, the worst disabilities, the most difficult cases, to evacuate them to safety. And I learned a very important lesson that leaving no one behind means also helping those who choose to stay behind. Don't be paternalistic when it comes to disability and say, oh, I know best, I can help you, I'm Access Israel. So we also assisted 10,000 people who chose to stay behind. And that's the Purple Vest, training people, providing knowledge, assisting in an accessible way in times of emergency. We received awards, we were invited all over the world, but I can tell you that I was never as proud of Access Israel and of the project Purple Vest as I was on October 7th. 6:29, the siren hit. I was sleeping, I woke up. We ran to the safe room. You know, it's not the first time the siren is operating in Israel, but something in the air said this is something different this time. And I was very proud to say that at 8 o'clock, an hour and a half or an hour and 31 minutes after the siren was heard, Purple Vest Israel started operating. We started with what we do best, the personalization, looking at the person behind the disability, helping them, reaching out, talking and understanding what each and every person needs. Community, remember, I started with that. I spent October 7th on the phone and with WhatsApps with people with disabilities in Sderot and in other areas, in the hit areas, the most heavily hit, Ashkelon, etc., with the terrorists outside the windows, and trying to help as much as I can. I said generic doesn't work, and I can tell you that when they brought the cars, the vehicles to take people out, the vehicles were not accessible. So the people who could get on the vehicles were those not in a wheelchair, those who did not need, special requirements. The generic does not work. The first evacuation we did was on Sunday because people with disabilities had to stay until Sunday to get out. And from that moment, we basically operated to take people, to evacuate and help people in Israel, up north, down south, unfortunately all the way to Eilat. A lot of people were evacuated to Eilat, the city of tourism, a fun place, a great place to be. And of course, they arrived there and the Houthim started, I don't know how you say Houthim in English, but from Yemen started to be more attacks. So everywhere in Israel was relevant to the Purple Vest. Fast forward, and I'm close to the end, and I'll be very happy to answer questions later. But fast forward. This project, the training, we trained about 1,000 people in Israel, all over Israel, that reached out and said, we want to be part of this. We want to help. We want to help our neighbors. We want to help our community. We want to help our friends, our coworkers. How can we reach out to them? How can we communicate with them? How can we assist them? This is something that they learned. We had a call center operating from Saturday, from October 7th, accessible call center that helped and provided guidance, support, and assistance to whoever wanted such assistance. We have evacuated hundreds and hundreds of families, especially from areas where the government could not evacuate because the government had to put a line somewhere, but the noise of the bombing does not stop in the line that the government sets. So you have to take care of everyone. And looking forward, we understand that there's going to be a lot of need to rebuild. They say that over 20,000 people are going to be newly disabled from this war in Israel. And looking into Gaza, there's many that are going to be disabled over there also. There's going to be a lot of rebuilding, both in the area of Gaza and also up north. I don't know how updated you are, but we're burning up. It's burning up in probably one of the most beautiful areas of Israel. And I'm not saying it to pull everybody down here, but in an optimistic way, looking forward and understanding and seeing that the power of the people, the help that everybody, the volunteering that has occurred in Israel in the last 8 months, and everybody who joined us at the Purple Vest and showed us that people with disabilities will not be left behind and will be assisted and helped. This is what gives me a lot of hope. And looking forward, we know that the rebuilding will have to be accessible. Israel, who was already considered an accessible place and an inclusive place, will have to work harder because there are people who suffered enough, and we have to make sure that society will be able to bring them into this community, into the congregation, and have them be part of it, even though now they're facing a disability. So I hope I captured enough. And if you are interested to learn more, please visit our website. And if you're interested in joining training on Purple Vest, because I wish everyone long life, good health. At the age of 99, accessibility is something we will all need. And emergency can happen anywhere. It can be even something small. You have the training, you can join by Zoom or training that occurs here in New York City, and learn how to help, how to reach out and leave no one behind. By the way, you know that this is how you clap in sign language.
We know sign language. ברכו את אדוני המבורך ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם Maybe see them Baruch Harat Shechina. Ela Chaya v'Kayemet Antimit Mloch Aleilam Voed Baruch Shechina Hamariva Aravim Avat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Avtat Mitzvot Chokim Mishpatim Otalim Alekiragim. Page 36. Ve'avatcha Al Tasir Mimenu לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל כבוד מלכות לעולם ועד. ויאהבת אס אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך
ופשרתם להוד ידיך והיו לטובות בעיניך ונובטחתם
על מזוזות ביתך.
ובישרך.
Page 41, we continue with the second paragraph. ואהבתם אלוהים אחרים שלך ותמך ותנמכם וקשרתם לעושה עינכם למען יבואו עמכם ממניכם עלינו אשמה ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, page 43, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם יעשו להם ציציס על כנפי בניהם לדורסם ונשאו על ציציס הגנה בסדכלס והיה לכם לציציס וריסם עושו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם עושם ולא תעשו רוח אחרי לבבכם אחרי עיניכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תסגרו ועשיתם את כל מצוות ועשיתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אדוני אלוהיכם אמס ואמונה כל זאת וקיים עלינו On page 47, 48, Moshe Miriam ובני ישראל הכנו שירה, בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם.
כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא תהילה עושה מלכות רעו ונחה בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים עושה לי אנו ואבינו אדוני יהיו לעולם ועד ידע אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני
ברוך שמו
גל ישראל
נשכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ימדין מלכנו על page 49 פרוס עלינו סוכה שלומך וסכנין ויצא טובה מלפניך ושינה מה שמך והגימדין וסמי עלינו אוי יהודה וחברה וגם וססתם מלפנינו מאחרנו וצריכים לברך לעצמנו כי מה שמנו יחד אחד ברור לשמור את עשינו והיינו לחיים לשלום יד ויד עולם אוי שלום שלום Let there be peace.
Oh,
Let there be peace.
Oh, let there be
peace. Let there be peace.
Oh, let there be peace.
ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני, הפורש סוכת שלום, עלינו על כל עם ישראל, ועל ירושלים. Please rise, everyone. Shamra, page 51 and 52. Tzikadish, Yiskadal v'yiskadash, Shemei Rabbi, Amar Yivrach Yirusei v'yamlich Malchusei, Mechaye, Uvchaye b'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala,
ובזמן קריב
V'yimeru,
אמן
Yesh me Rabba Mevorach,
לעולם ועולמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח יתברך ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה
Tush Bechasa,
נחמתה דמיין ועלמה and let us say Amen.
Amidah can be found on page 55 and 56. So just a couple of minutes of Torah together before we go. I remember being in a synagogue somewhere, I don't remember where. In particular, it was during the early years of Roma when we were just building Romemu. And I was traveling, not only was I here every week, but I was also traveling, every now and then to kind of bring the Torah of Reb Zalman and my teacher wherever they would invite me to bring it. It's 20 years since I met my teacher. I met my teacher 20 years ago, this Shavuot, as I was leaving my second rabbinical school of the Orthodox persuasion and trying to figure out if I was going to become a Zen priest or a Pilates instructor. And I remember a friend of mine who was in Orthodox yeshiva with me in Chovei Torah said, why do you want to go learn Sanskrit? I kept saying, I want to go learn Sanskrit. He said, you already know Aramaic. It's like, you have one ancient language, you're good. It's like, you just go, it's kind of something in your back pocket. You can learn, Gemara, Zohar, you're good to go. I had no idea what he meant. When I met my teacher, it became clear to me. So I was on one of these excursions as an ambassador, and I remember sitting in the shul and I said this, I thought I was being all cute. I said something, the best have to is want to. That coercion and feeling obligated because you have to do something is really not such a high madrega. It's not a high level. It's much better to do things miratzon, from a place of desire. And I had a cute little thing. I think I said it, or Amichai said it, one of us said it, but like, we're not the chosen people, but we're the choosing people. I'm sure we're not the first ones. We're not the chosen people, we're the choosing people. We have to choose to step in, choose to be involved, choose to participate, choose and be motivated to step in. And remember, the response from everybody was nodding, and then there was one guy, and he wasn't nodding. And I said, what's going on? He said, what are you talking about? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. This was something I'd already heard from my Rebbe. Like, my Rebbe kept saying, every Jew now is a Jew of choice. That's what Reb Zalman used to say all the time. Every Jew is a Jew of choice. After the Enlightenment, right, Jews are in a free society. You can go wherever you want. So we think of converts, and Shavuot, by the way, just parenthetically, Shavuot, the holiday of Revelation, is known as the holiday of Gerim, like of converts. Not only because of Ruth, but because we ourselves we converted there at the moment when we received Torah. But Reb Zalman used to say that paradigm is over. We're no longer chosen, but we choose because we're free. And this guy said, I have no idea what you're talking about. It doesn't feel like a choice on any level whatsoever to be Jewish. He said, I know, in theory, what you're saying in the abstract, it's really lovely. Like, of course, I can go somewhere, I can change my name to, Neem Karoli Baba, I can name, Hare Krishna, I can come up with a name, but I'm a Jew. And I don't feel, and he almost was angry about it, I don't feel like I have a choice. It's like a Moda Rabba, Daraisa. It's like, I'm a Jew. I can't opt out. It's ridiculous, he said. Being Jewish, he said, is core and essential to who I am and my identity, as choosing my eye color, choosing anything about my physical, like I am a Jew, like my body. It was so striking that now, almost 15, 16 years, I still remember his face. I remember the way he said it to me. And I always thought, okay, there's one outlier in every class you give. Any good teacher knows that there's always going to be one. So you'll say something that seems obvious to everybody, but there'll be one person for whom it's completely 180 degrees. And this conversation was already anticipated by the Gemara, by the Talmud, in one of the more famous passages that I think, I can speak for myself, but I know that from other people, it's a very difficult Talmudic expansion around Revelation. The rabbis imagined that when God gave us the Torah, that the children of Israel were at the foot of the mountain, and the Torah says they were at the foot of the mountain, but it says it in a way that if you read it hyperliterally, it meant that they were underneath the mountain, as if the mountain were being held above their heads. Kafaleim har kegigit, that God held a mountain over their heads and said, if you want, I'm giving you the Torah. If you accept it, great. If you don't accept it, this will be your burial place. The Talmud quotes this remarkable image of a coerced people given a choice between receiving revelation or dying. And the Talmud, just like everybody here who's looking quizzically, immediately says, well, that would disqualify the agreement because you can't coerce someone into a covenantal relationship. They have to agree without a gun to their head. Okay, good question. But it didn't stop the last 2,000 years of Jewish thinkers wondering what is implied by this image. Emmanuel Levinas, the great thinkers. How does revelation and coercion work? I think that for many of us, in the last 8.5 months, this Gemara, this Talmudic piece, has been as clear and as obvious to us as anything else. Like many of the moral problems have fallen by the wayside. And there are some who would argue that it's possible to walk away from certain parts of Jewish identity. It's possible to make a choice to stay outside of the camp. It's possible to imagine a world without certain features of Jewish identity that have been so core and so profoundly existentially important for us for the last 80 years, and before that for 2,000 years. And I think that sometimes I imagine now that that mountain is unfortunately the Torah of anti-Semitism. And I've awakened in the last 8.5 months to a truth that I would have completely rejected 9 months ago, or 8.5, and a day. That there's something about being Jewish that no matter what we do, the Torah of being a Jew is a heavy obligation that we can't run from. There's nowhere to go. There isn't any choice about being a Jew. If you've been born a Jew, like me, I feel for you. It would be nice to stand here and have a confessional where we said something like, how many of you over the last 8.5 months have wished to God that you could go somewhere to a nice, Jamaica? We went to Jamaica. It didn't help. I got a bad back. Go somewhere where, okay, not only will they not know me, but, I cannot know me as me. I'll just skip out of all of the things that are around. I remember when my first son was born, that at that moment I thought to myself, there has never been a greater identity shift for me in my life. I will always be, no matter what happens, I will always be a father. God willing, right? No matter where my kid is, I know that they're tethered to me. Changed me completely. And I imagine, right, that this year of all years, that the image of a mountain being held over our heads, for some of us, it might feel like a very profoundly difficult image, but for me, it also gives me great solace. Because at this point in my life, and at this point, I think in Jewish history, there's nowhere I would rather be, really. Even after those fantasies of, somewhere where they'll leave us alone. But b'toch ami ani yoshev, I want to be with my people. And the last thing I'll say about this is that I think that it's also profoundly relational. That's why I brought in the father piece. I don't think it's in the abstract, that just being a part of a community or being part of a people. There's something profoundly relational about it as well. I think that's really why we read about Ruth on Shavuot, the custom of reading the Megillat Ruth, because she loved Naomi. She loved her mother-in-law, and she had chosen, right, that was a choice to enter that family. But from the moment that relationship was established, she said, I can't leave you. There's nothing you can do that will push me away. I'm going with you wherever you go. I think for a lot of rabbis and other Jewish leaders, it's been who live their lives with the Torah of love, the last 8.5 months have been impossible. To stand up week in, week out to try to speak to the Torah of love when there's a war going on has been excruciatingly difficult for me, and I know for many of my colleagues. And so I wrote to a friend of mine today, and I said to her, you know, I'm thinking a lot about this mountain over our heads business. And I'm thinking a lot about how I also want that to feel like love. That obligation is also rooted in love. That commitment is also rooted in love. That identity and community is also rooted in love, clearly. And that it's been hard to talk about love for the last 8.5 months. And she said to me, and I'll never forget this because it reminded me of Emil Fackenheim. It's a great thinker, said that every Jewish child born after the Shoah was a refusal to give Hitler a posthumous victory. And so she said to me, don't let Hamas steal your Torah of love. That's what she said to me. She said, don't let Hamas steal your Torah of love. And that even though it feels that we're surrounded on all sides, and even though as people who feel the weight of our Jewish identity as an obligation that we can't even in fantasy skirt, there's a Torah of love that Judaism in all its beauty and our tradition really speaks to, the power of each person that we meet to change our narrative, that revelation can happen in the next moment, and that somebody might completely pull the rug out from underneath your mind. You thought you were resting in hate or in your assumptions about the world, even me, and anti-Semitism. I still believe that it'll end one day. I don't think it's soon, unfortunately, but I still hold out the possibility of being surprised by people. And that's a refusal to give in to hate. It's a refusal. So the mountain is over our heads. It's Shavuot. It's a Shavuot like no other in our history, in my lifetime. And we remember that Ashreinu ma tov chelkenu. It's good to be a part of this people. It's a good thing. With all of the troubles and all of the trials and all of the difficulties. And that I pray that we choose to step in on the Shavuos and to hear maybe a little bit of Torah, the Torah of love. Please rise.
אל לבביך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים והשב אותה אל לבביך כי הוויה
Page 78.
הוא האלוהים
Page 80.
או למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Please remain standing if you're saying the Mourner's Kaddish. We can all turn to page 116 and 115 for the Mourner's Kaddish. I'll just ask everybody to say the names of a loved one out loud. All together, just say them out loud at this moment. Just say the name of your loved one that you're remembering tonight. Together, all of you who are standing. On page 115 and 116, we invite those whose custom it is to stand to please rise. Yitkadal v'yitkadash me Rabbah. V'yomad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayechonu v'yamechonu v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. Bagala v'zman kariv imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivorach le'alam u'me'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata. תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירם באומה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל V'yimru. Amen. Yehi zichram baruch. Please rise, everyone, for Kiddush. On page 88, we have thank yous. Thank you to our davening team. Thank you to Noah Solomon and to Shoshana Jedwab and to Judah. Shkoch to you all. Shkoch to Craig on sound. Thank you to Michal Rimon from Access Israel for teaching us about this beautiful, important organization. Thank you to Gail for security downstairs and to facilities. To Victor, Blanca, Lenore, and Lauren. Tomorrow morning at 8:45, I'll be teaching the open book, and then we'll have services at 10 o'clock. Thank you as well to our online staff, and Claire, and Jeff for being here as well. We're on page 88. Vayer vayivoker yom hashishi, vayichu hashamayim v'aretz v'chol tzvam, vayichal Elohim yom hashem melachto asher asa vayishbos bayom hashvi, mikol melachto asher asa v'varech Elohim, es yom hashvi hakadosh oso ki bo shavas mikol melachto asher bara Elohim la'asot tzavri chavirai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher krishanu v'tzosav v'ratzavanu v'shabas kol shel b'yavav ratzon inchilanu zikaron למעשה וראשיס כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים משבס קודשך באהבה ברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Sfirata Omer, don't worry, Bob. Sfirata Omer is on page 103. On page 103, this is just for those who, it's halachically not really the time, but we're just going to do it because we're doing it early. In Mukhana Zuman, the Kayim Mitzvahs Aseh Shel Sfirata Omer, Sheva Shabbatot Timimot Tiyena. Yada lai 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 lai, Yada lai lai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfiras haomer. What's tonight or what's yesterday? Anybody know? Tonight, I know. So 46. So let's do 46 on page 106. Hayom shisha v'arba'im yom shem shisha shavuot v'arba yomim la'omer netzach sheben malchut, everybody. So go ahead on page 106 at your own speed. Ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya ya na 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 ya na 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 ya na 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 ya ya na 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 ya Ya na 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 Ya na 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 ya na Ya na 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 ya. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Good Shabbos. Have a good Shabbos, everybody.
Hey la 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 la